Well, hey folks, real on to which I'm Wrestling. Here's 10 wrestlers WWE ruined in 2018. Big thank you to Evelina Tweets for the suggestion for the show topic. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to everybody where you've been watching since the beginning. You've been watching for a year, watching for a couple months, where you started watching today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I love interacting with so many wrestling fans, as I myself am just a wrestling fan, not a journalist, not a reporter, none of this stuff. I don't claim to be anything I'm not. I'm just a wrestling fan of 30 plus years. And I love it. Whether it's WWE at its worst or best, New Japan, WCW at its worst or best, or all that stuff, it's really just a lot of fun to watch wrestling, interact with you guys. I also want to say very, very quickly, these are just my opinions. So if you guys don't like it, please leave in the comments what your picks would be. And also, I've been asked if I'm going to do any end-of-year award shows like I've done for 2015, 2016, or last year. I'm probably not going to be able to do that, but there's going to be a live Q&A that myself and the Derb are going to be doing on the 30th, since I'm actually going to be off that day. So send in your questions for that. Now, I mean, if you can tune in for the live stream, it should be happening around 11 a.m. or noon my time, somewhere around there. I'll nail down a time and actually get and post it on Twitter, or actually, say it in another review, and then you guys can tune in for that. But the plan is to do like 2-3 hours, possibly, whatever, can work. And we'll switch between games and we'll do some, just fun like Q&A stuff. So if you have questions you want to ask about end of year stuff, please feel free to send that in, on the live chat. Or if you, for any reason, know that you can't tune in, you can send them here, or you can send them, on Twitter. My Twitter handle will be in the description. So anyway, that out of the way. WWE has used some talents pretty shitty, and some are kind of baffling. So let's get right into it. Aiden English is an honorable mention. I didn't expect them to use him all that well, but Rusev Day was hugely over, and they didn't do much of anything with him after that. They had the heel turn, which we expected, which I popped for, but then the horrible feud with Rusev and the one night in Milwaukee shit, and then he was jobbed out and beaten instantly. He hasn't been seen on TV in, 2 months? Is he, I know he posted stuff on social media, so obviously he's okay. I just find it rather baffling they can't find something to do for this guy who actually is a pretty good worker. I'm not saying he's ever going to be a champion, but he could be somebody. Send it back to NXT and have him work with some guys. He is pretty damn good and should be used a whole lot better. Finn Balor obviously would be another one, because Finn is somebody who is still not getting his goddamn Universal title shot. For fuck's sake, he should have gotten his Universal title rematch. Yes, I know WWE recently undid the whole rematch clause thing, but Finn should still get a shot at the Universal title. He doesn't seem to be getting it, and I don't think he's ever going to get it. Now, he's a damn good worker. I don't think they're ever going to use him as more than maybe a mid-card champion, and maybe even that's being generous. But Finn certainly deserves a chance, and yeah, he's been pretty much ruined. Honestly, Aiden English is going to be seen like a goddamn loser. Finn Balor is basically seen as a really good talent. He's really good in the ring, and he's still over, but nobody buys into the fact that he would be a main eventer. This could be ruined for the short term, this could be ruined for the long term. Honestly, that's really just what it comes down to. Also, I hate to get on age here, Finn's still in phenomenal shape and a great talent, but I think he's 37, 38. Are they really going to want to focus on a guy in his later 30s as their figurehead for the next 5 years? He's a really good worker. Maybe he could be a champion, but they pretty much botched him from the time they, brought him back from injury. Finjury, if you will. And back in March of 2017, he's had good matches. But it's been stop, start, push, that horrible Bray Wyatt feud and a whole bunch of stuff. But 2018 has not been kind to Finn. It just has not been. And he's still really good in the ring. I just wish he could be used better. But now we move on to Gallows and Anderson. When was the last time Gallows and Anderson were on SmackDown besides, just recently this week? August. And they were also featured in they haven't wrestled since August, because they were featured backstage, like joining the Usos team, when the Usos were Survivor Series captains, which, yes, the pre-show does count, and SmackDown won a match. But anyway, Gallows and Anderson have not meant anything in 2018, and that's sad. They had a feud with Harper and Rowan, and that was Money in the Bank time, and then after that were barely used. They apparently are still under contract for about another year, or at least close to it. It's a shame only because they could be utilized so much better if they were in Japan, if they were somewhere, or if WWE recognized that they were so goddamn good and that Gallows and Anderson can be a good team. Now, Anderson is clearly the star of the two. I think that if you put them out on their own, Anderson could actually be a damn good worker and a damn good mid-card champion. Gallows is also good, but he's more of a big bodyguard type. Being in a tag team's perfect for him. It's just sad because Gallows and Anderson were so good in Japan. If you look back at their stuff in New Japan, they were so good and so great. And now they haven't been anything. They were tag team champions for like 2 months last year. I mean, and that's it. They have not tasted championship gold in so long. They haven't had any meaningful feuds in so long. Now, maybe this could change sometime in next year, but at least for a good while, they're pretty much ruined in people's eyes because nobody sees them and they're always losing whenever they're there. It's just sad because they're such a great team. Number 9, Sasha Banks. I'm putting Sasha lower on this list because I still think Sasha's a little more salvageable than another woman I have on this list. And gee, I wonder if you can guess who I'm talking about. But Sasha, her goofy hair aside, her weave and everything. Sasha's weave needs to get out on its own and do something else. But anyway, that joke aside, yeah, I've beaten that joke into the ground. Sasha is actually an incredible talent. She's still really good. She should be a heel. I'm not saying that she can't have a likable persona on TV, but she is better as a heel. Her boss persona in NXT when she was just this fucking bitch and just rotten to Bayley and beating up Becky and all that stuff. Sasha was so goddamn good. Sasha should be a heel. But that whole Bayley-Sasha feud and feuding and then teaming up in unlikely partners and doing this and whatever, no one gives a shit about Sasha. And she had a pretty damn good performance in the first ever Women's Rumble. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think she did. And that is something that actually pretty much fucking bothers me. Is that you have this incredible talent, somebody who is pretty goddamn good, bumps like a crazy motherfucker and might have issues walking past the age of 30 if she doesn't slow down just a little bit, but Sasha is so goddamn good and a great wrestler. Yeah, she's had her injuries and she's had stuff like that. You're going to have injuries in wrestling. She is dynamite though and deserved such better booking this year than she got. And it's really annoying. Number 8, Rusev. I want to say right now, I am aware of the SmackDown spoilers for the Christmas episode, which I'm probably not going to be able to watch because I'll be working. And if I tape it, maybe I could watch it later and have a review up that morning. Who knows? I'm aware of the spoilers. You cannot tell me that Rusev has been used all that well in 2018 at all. The whole Rusev Day thing has gotten over. It was like calendars. I think it was a Rusev Day calendar. Sold out like crazy. His other merch went nuts, as far as sales. He was hugely over. Rusev Day chance to dominate, even when he wasn't on the fucking show. And this is how you fucking treat him. Now, he had a good showing in this Rumble, or in the Rumble earlier this year. I expect him to have a good showing in the Rumble, hopefully in 2019. He's a very good athlete. He is the super athlete. He is damn good. He is damn likable. This face turn, they finally decided to embrace him as a goddamn face. And yeah, this is where I get a little bit fired up because WWE had such a goddamn marketable star, but no, he's foreign, pal. We can't use him. And terrible Vince impression, by the way, but Rusev from the time, like when he was in that 4-way for the U.S. title at Mania, or just a meaningless feud, he had that feud with AJ Styles into Extreme Rules, which they should have just fucking pulled the trigger and had Rusev become WWE champion. Even for a month. Sorry, turned out that AJ's title reign, even though it was over a year, kind of a flop. I mean, I know that sounds like a dick thing to say, but it's true. It is. I mean, let's be honest. Let's look at the totality of it. He had some good matches that was marred by bad booking. That's not his fault, but it was a pretty shit reign. It's probably one of the most underwhelming year-long reigns, or just over year-long reigns, that I've seen in a good while. And there haven't been that many year-long reigns with the WWE title, or year-long reigns in general. I would say, now, I may do a which was worse episode about AJ's title reign. His WWE title reign is, this most recent one, and Punk's 13-month WWE title reign. I may do that at some point, and I'm sure you guys would love to hear me say that. I will have to do some dives into main events and stuff like that. But anyway, with Rusev should have become WWE champion right there. Now, I knew he wouldn't. I knew they wouldn't pull the trigger on him. But then after that, meaningless feuds. The one night in Milwaukee thing went absolutely nowhere. And then he was still getting Rusev Day chance. He was still getting that. He's still super over. And yes, again, I read the SmackDown spoiler. It still does not undo all the shit booking that they gave him in 2018. Yeah, he had flashes where he did well, and the crowd so fucking wanted him to be champion. It just didn't work. because creative didn't want it to work. That's what it was. Rusev absolutely can work. Him and Lana absolutely should be, a pair on TV for life. They're husband and wife, but also they complement each other so goddamn well. It just works out better for them to be together. But Rusev needs to have, if he doesn't taste WWE Championship gold or get moved to Raw along with Lana and taste Universal Championship gold by next year, I'm not gonna be surprised when I'm gonna be disappointed. And it's very sad that Rusev's been booked the way he has. So enough of that. Sanity. Oh, Sanity exists. They showed up on the most recent SmackDown after barely being on there and being on the SmackDown team for the pre-show, which does count, by the way. Sanity got called up and lost their first goddamn match. Sanity has barely won any goddamn matches. Why did they call Sanity up if they didn't have anything for them? Look, I know Eric Young wrestled a ton of years in what was TNA and now is Impact Wrestling. He was a damn good performer there and should not go back there, by the way, because TNA Impact, rather, should be moving forward, not backwards, and Eric did all he could there. And you have Killian Dane, Big Damo. You had Alexander Wolf. You had Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross hung back in NXT and did some stuff and did whatever. And now I don't know if she's going to SmackDown or Raw. We'll find out. But Sanity has not been used well at all. And why not? There's three really good performers. Alexander Wolf's a good performer. Yeah, he's probably stuck in tag teams for life. But he earned my respect with the, how he powered through the War Games match last year. Killian Dane's an absolutely insane athlete. Eric Young's a great wrestler. He's not anybody that's above tag team championships. Maybe a mid-card title if they decided to use the Freebird rule and turn Sanity heel. But Sanity should be used at all. They should be used better than they are, though. It's really sad that they've done nothing but lose. When they're anything but losers. They were booked great in NXT for a while. And then, yes, as Sanity got to where they were losing some matches, it still mattered more because Ty Dillinger feuding with Eric Young, that was good stuff. That was really good stuff. They had a good little feud before Ty Dillinger got called up to the main roster. The whole point is Sanity, so much better than what they've been given. Same with Nikki Cross. And Nikki Cross has done more in NXT on 1 hour of TV since Sanity got called up than Sanity's done with 2 hours of TV each week. Now, I'm sure they've been on a lot of house shows and this kind of stuff, but still, they were, what? They were part of the Survivor Series team? What other pay-per-view were they part of? Seriously, I'm struggling to remember what other pay-per-view they were part of. I can't think of one. Sanity deserves to be used better. They're at least ruined for the short term. They're going to have to be built back up over about 6 months. A tag title run by Mania and a good solid run till about SummerSlam could do it. But they're pretty ruined for right now because they haven't been used at all. And now we move on to Samoa Joe. I love Samoa Joe. I know some of you don't. I don't understand that, but that's okay. You guys are fans of whoever. Samoa Joe, if you didn't give it to Rusev, you should have given the WWE titles to Samoa Joe. And they didn't. And whatever. Joe's still going to be over whether he has a title or not. Maybe he doesn't want the title. Who knows? I don't have a damn clue. I don't really care. Samoa Joe deserved to be WWE champion, though. He still deserves to be WWE champion. But now he's seen like a goddamn loser. He lost to AJ at SummerSlam. He lost to AJ at... what the fuck was it? He lost to AJ at SummerSlam, at Hell in a Cell. He lost to him at Super Showdown. They didn't wrestle at Evolution, thankfully. That would have been weird. And then he had to sub for Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan didn't want to be part of the Crown Jewel show. And lost to him again. He's been seen as just a fucking, jobber. That's all he's been seen as. A really talented, but damn, just under the, just flat on the mat for 1, 2, 3. He's been seen as a jobber. That's all it's been. And yeah, I'm stumbling over my words. Apologies. I get a little bit angry. Samoa Joe deserves to be champion. He deserves to be a champion. I just don't understand why they haven't made him champion. I mean, I get it. Not everybody's going to be champion. I'm not saying I want the title hot potatoed around, but go with momentum and have people win titles if the crowd wants it. Because people were getting tired of AJ's run, and I love AJ Styles. He's one of my favorite superstars of the year. He's one of my favorite superstars of all time. He's probably in my top 10. And if he's not in my top 10, I may have to redo that at some point in my top 50 and put AJ Styles in. But AJ's goddamn good, but Samoa Joe deserved to be WWE champion. And he's one where it's like, nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. It's like his feuds meant nothing. He was just shown as just being a loser. I mean, and then he got like the match he had with Roman Reigns at Backlash, which that was terrifyingly awful. It just it didn't work. None of it worked, which is sad because Joe is so goddamn good. Number 5, Braun Strowman. He lost to Brock Lesnar twice. Once in January and part of a 3-way with Kane. Good luck on seeing that. And a crown jewel. With the unfortunate, leukemia diagnosis of Roman Reigns took him out of that match. And I may rag on Roman Reigns, the character. Best wishes, honestly, in a full, speedy recovery to, Roman Reigns, because cancer is a goddamn bitch. And anybody that is saying that it is used as an angle to get, it's used as an angle to get Roman Reigns cheered. If any of you guys are watching that feel that, you guys got issues. Because WWE would absolutely kill their sponsorships and kill their credibility and everything. The stuff they do with Connor's Cure, all that shit would go away. They would lose so much good PR that they have built up, which, I mean, ain't much because they got a lot of bad PR. Using Roman Reigns' leukemia for, to get him cheered, no. That's really, really dumb. I mean, there are people that believe the Montreal Screwjobs will work. I don't, but I can see where people are saying. But that was a wrestling angle that just got out of hand. This is real life. This is the man himself, so let's stop that. But anyway, let's get back to Braun Strowman. He loses the Elimination Chamber. Okay, whatever. I mean, we all knew it was Reigns versus Lesnar. He then wants to face the Tag Team Champions, The Bar, and he teams with a little kid. Okay, whatever. The kid probably was terrified, and I wouldn't blame the kid, even though it was a referee's kid. But still, Braun does that, which was stupid, and it was stupid because it made Braun seem ridiculous, and then Braun wins the Greatest Royal Rumble and his minty fresh spearmint belt. And then he wins Money in the Bank. They do absolutely nothing with him as Money in the Bank, as Mr. Money in the Bank or Monster in the Bank. He beats up Kevin Owens at Extreme Rules, tossing him off a cage, beats him in like 5 seconds at SummerSlam, hands the briefcase to Baron Corbin as cash-in at Hell in a Cell. It ends up being a non-finish. They just ruined the whole briefcase concept right there. They need to scrap the goddamn Money in the Bank briefcase concept, if not just for both of them, at least for the men. Keep it for the women if you want. It help revitalize and spice up the women's division. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But then Braun is just booked like a loser after that. Loses to Brock. He was part of Team Raw as the winning team, that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, he's still over, but it's not the same. He's seen as somebody that's going to get a big reaction, hit some big power moves, but the bubbles kind of burst on Braun. And all that booking, that stop-start booking, pretty much fucking did it. And it's really, really fucking stupid. So yeah, these rants are kind of getting a little out of control, so let's dial things down a bit and get to somebody that I know that WWE was going to ruin. Bayley. I love Bayley. I really do. I think Bayley's awesome. Bayley is beyond repair. It's sad. She was consistently one of the most over acts in NXT. She was over when she got called up for that one night at Battleground 2016. She was still over when she got called up sometime after SummerSlam, after losing to Asuka again. And then she won the title from Charlotte on Raw absolutely randomly, instead of at Mania, where it would have meant more. And then they did the whole This Is Your Life thing with Alexa Bliss, which was bad creatively, and they've referenced in the past, realizing, in the very recent past, before this new era started, Bayley is just seen like such a fucking loser. She is. Go to 2018. Okay, her time in the Rumble was It was what it was. That feud with Sasha just pissed me the fuck off. It just pissed me off so goddamn much because they should have pulled the goddamn trigger on it. And they didn't. And then they tried to make it weird. And it was bad. And it was stupid. And Bayley's dead in the water. Not the woman herself. I just mean the character. And it's sad. Now, I'm not saying that she was going to be the best women's wrestler out there. She is still a really good worker. I think she is. I like that, they have tried, anytime they try to tweak her character, like when she yelled at Sasha, yelled at her, you ain't shit. Okay, cool. And they went nowhere with it. They did the therapy thing. Does anyone really care about Bayley beyond being like, yay, I'm a fan of her? Do you really think the company's going to use her better? I don't. And that's sad because she is really still very good. And maybe with some rebuilding, maybe. But in the minds of a lot of people, she's going to be seen as a loser. And I hate that because I love Bayley and I want her to succeed. I hope she has a damn good showing in the Royal Rumble next month. We'll see. Yeah, Bayley being misused pisses me off. Oh, look, we have more women. The Iconics. When was the last time the Iconics were featured in a prominent spot on SmackDown? Probably in their debut when they attacked Charlotte. They did attack Charlotte, right? I mean, that was a while ago. And then Carmella ended up cashing in. But that was one of the last times the Iconics were featured well. That was 8 months ago. Now, yeah, they got a pop at Evolution. They got a pop at Super Showdown. It was in Australia, of course it was. So they should have gotten a big pop. They should get big pops anyway. I know their shtick is annoying to some people, but Billy and Peyton are very good workers. I think Billy's a better worker than some people give her credit for. Peyton clearly has learned from one of the best, in Lance Storm, excuse me. But Lance Storm doesn't train slouches. By and large, his trainees work out really, really well. And Peyton Royce is somebody they could push well. Now, Billy and Peyton should be a team for now and, I'd say for a good while because they are a really, really dynamite duo. They need to be given better material, though, because eventually it just becomes a whole lot of noise and it becomes a lot of nothing if they do nothing but lose. And even when they win singles matches or tag matches, they end up turning, creative turns it right back around, has them lose a bit later, like, in the next week or two, undoing everything that they could possibly do to even build on a fraction of their talent. And yes, they may not be two of the best women's wrestlers of all time, at least not yet. Peyton's upside could be a whole lot better. I think Billy is certainly very, very talented and has the size and hits a hell of a mean boot, or a hell of a big boot. But it just seems like you call these women up and you do absolutely nothing with them. Like I know apparently, I guess as of recording this video, I think one of them is injured, or Billy suffered some kind of injury, which hopefully she's going to be okay. Yes, 2019 could end up being fresh, and they could end up doing really well. Hopefully they do well in the Rumble. But honestly, it's baffling watching that they use the same women every single week sometimes. And when they use different women, they use them in such throwaway segments. I'm not saying everybody needs to have like a 5-star feud. But if you're not going to put any effort in them, no one's going to take the Iconics seriously when they should. So, let's move on to more women, the Riot Squad, mainly Ruby. Liv is young and still learning. I'm not saying like Ruby's old. Ruby's wrestled plenty of times. I think has wrestled for like 8+ years. I know Sarah wrestled for a while, or a couple years as Crazy Mary Dobson. Sarah Logan has a good upside. I think Liv does also. I don't know what Liv's upside is. Out of the 3, it's probably the least. But again, I was proven wrong earlier this year because Liv actually won me over, and I didn't think I'd say that. And I mean, I can certainly see why people like her. I'm not saying like I'm a huge fan of her, but she has certainly improved. Sarah, I think, has a big upside. Ruby is the one that they have misused the most. The Riot Squad do not seem like a goddamn joke. They're like the 1992 version of the Fabulous Freebirds, or like the early 90s version of the Fabulous Freebirds in WCW. And if you're a longtime fan like me, you know that's not a good comparison. I don't know who Terry Gordy is. I guess maybe Sarah would be Terry Gordy. Maybe because of like power and stuff like that. But Ruby is no slouch. Whereas she was Heidi Lovelace or Ruby Riot. And Ruby Riot because they put an extra T on there for some ungodly reason. Ruby is somebody that they could use a whole lot better. But the Riot Squad, example, they were taken out at TLC. I get it. Natty should have won that feud since they made it about her dead father. Her recently deceased father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Very sad. R.I.P. to Jim Neidhart. And I credit to Natty for continuing to wrestle. Because it's got to be tough losing your father. It really, losing your parents really got to be tough. And Natty was right back out there at SummerSlam. I mean, she wasn't wrestling, but still, she got a huge pop, and that was great. Anyway, back to the Riot Squad. I'm not saying, it's like, this is an example where if you had introduced women's tag team titles and had them defended on NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, Riot Squad would have been perfect. Because the Riot Squad would have been, they could have used Freebird rule. They could have had Liv and Ruby, or Liv and Sarah, or Sarah and Ruby. Just, you have so much potential there, and they've lost almost every goddamn feud. They lost feuds to the Bellas. The Bellas, who couldn't wrestle their goddamn way out of a paper bag. No, I do not like Nikki Bella. I do not think she's good. Has she improved? Sure, whatever. I mean, kinda. That match with Ronda was a little bit better than I thought, but back to the Riot Squad. Tell me that they're not going to be just seen like jokes. And they shouldn't be. They are three very talented. Ruby is clearly the most talented of them. Sarah is improving. Liv is improving. You have a really good, trio here of youth, or at least fresh faces you could use well. And if you just beat them to powder constantly, they're not going to mean a goddamn thing. So that's all I really have to say about that. Number 1, Nakamura. Nakamura won the Royal Rumble. Shockingly, I actually did not think he would. I mean, I'm glad he did, but whatever. He had that feud with AJ Styles, or he had that feud that led into WrestleMania. That match was good, it wasn't great. But then after that, it just went on a steep decline. I mean, it was all about nut shots. I liked Shinsuke's heel turn at Mania, but when he didn't win the title, it just made it ridiculous. He was like the king. He was like punched balls to dick, or arm to balls, kick to groin, knee to groin, something. Nakamura seemed like a goddamn, he seemed like a goddamn joke. Whether people want to feel that Nakamura gives his full effort in all his matches, or you could say that about a lot of wrestlers, because every wrestler, I think, would take it easy given the insane road schedule WWE has. Nakamura, however, should have been used better, because then he wasn't WWE champion, and then he became US champion in Extreme Rules, and I forgot about all that, because they didn't have him defend the title all that much. And then, just recently they got him in a feud with Rusev. It just blows my goddamn mind. Just blows my goddamn mind. And I'm sorry, by the way, my camera suddenly went out of focus there. I need to take it easy on how I move on this thing, because I got a goofy camera. But anyway, Nakamura really deserved a whole lot better. And I would not be surprised if he leaves. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he's re-signed with the company. I have no goddamn clue. But Nakamura deserved a better 2018 than he got. Yes, it was a whole high-profile feud with AJ at first. Yes, he won the Royal Rumble. Name anything he did after that was any good. He tried to make it entertaining, but nothing. It seems like Creative didn't have anything for him. They forgot he was U.S. champion. He was barely on the show at all. It was fucking rotten. But anyway, that's what I gotta say. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know what you guys have to say. And yes, again, end of year stuff should be some coming up this weekend, and that December 30th, basically, in about 11 days, as this video will be up. It'll be a live Q&A, live, gaming stream. Sometime I'll, like I said, I'll tweet out the time, or I'll say it on the next review that I do. But anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.